afternoon, fight fans. It's 3:30 my time, UK time, and as you know, I'm Ingram Jones, and it's here. Bad blood, or is it really bad blood? As we know, top of the card, Dereck Chisora, Tyson Fury 2. The undercard, I would have called it a joint. I would have called it a double main header, and Billy Joe Saunders, Eubank Jnr, Bradley Skeet, and Frankie Gavin, a Bayloric favourite in Mitchell Smith, going to challenge for the vacant WBO European title. Lewis Petit, Frank Buglioni, Steve Collins Jr., Liam Walsh. I cannot forget Liam Walsh, talented super feather, and who else? There's a few others as well in the bill, but you know, I'm going to start this a little different. There goes my phone, typically. I'm going to start this a little differently today, fight fans, because I woke up this morning and there's two parts of this discussion. The first part of this discussion is for Bayloric TV. The other side of this discussion will be on my other channel called Ingram Jones Talks Back. A lot of things that I see that I'm not happy about, and I'm kind of glad I've got this channel now so I can talk about the things, my personal opinions about things in another spot. So if you want to know what that is all about, you can check it out over on Ingram Jones Talks Back. Now, I woke up this morning.
You've got mail.
Thank you very much. I've got mail. It's a bit annoying, really. And as I woke up this morning, I thought to myself, I don't really want to talk about that to fight fans. But when I have something that's on my heart, I feel I should talk about, I talk about. And here it is. It's to do with the Eubanks, actually. And in particular, Eubank Jr. Like I said, anybody who knows about me, I've told you the story about Eubank Sr. I said to you all, I believe that Eubank Sr. would allow Eubank Jr. to take a beating in the corner, and he would watch that happen before he ever stepped him in the ring to fight anybody of note. I said that. Fight fans looked at me and thought I was stupid. Eubank admitted it himself. Okay. Yesterday I was quite fortunate to have met or reunited with Ronnie Davis. Ronnie Davis knew my trainer very well in Brighton. Chris remembered me, so we embraced briefly while his son weighed in. I met Eubank Jr. and I met Eubank Jr.'s brother. And I also got to meet, well, I didn't meet, but I was standing next to Karen, which is Eubank's ex-wife and the Eubank's mother. So that was interesting as well, and it's kind of weird. You kind of feel like you're a part of that family, because there's once a reality show called A Home with the Eubanks, and I won't bore you with it. You can do your research and you can look into it. Good series, really good series actually. I guess Eubank was a household name by that point, and it was a good look into his family and obviously the dynamics as to how Eubank Jr. now is where he is. And it was a conversation through the great Lennox Lewis. Lennox visited the house, and basically Eubank said, "No, I don't want my son to box." And Lewis said, "Well, you box. Who told you not to? Who told you to box?" So as Lewis said, "Give him a chance," and that's how the journey began. I don't know how it happened after that, but as you know, Eubank Jr. is where he is today. But from what I picked up, what I briefly picked up from Eubank Jr. is that he's a humble kid. A humble kid. A humble guy, young man. And I think people get caught up in the character that sells tickets as opposed to the character that is the man outside of the ropes. And it was interesting yesterday. I went and I very quickly shook his hand, introduced myself to him again, and very humble guy, very, very nice. He weighed in. Really, really nice guy. He wouldn't harm a fly. And at that point I realised, I looked at that, and then his mum stretched over and hugged and embraced him, and Eubank was there, and he was overlooking and making sure that his son, nothing untoward was happening to his son. And that's what you would do as a father, would be protective of your son. Now all this stuff about a lot of critics about Eubank, but Eubank Senior Boxing fans could be the most ungrateful people in the world. Chris Eubank Sr. brought us some great fights. Let's remember the night he fought Nigel Benn twice, right? Let's remember he fought Michael Watson. You know, Steve Collins, Carl Thompson, Joe Calzaghe. Eubank made those fights happen. He fought those fights. Fight fans are always saying, oh, this guy's ducking that guy. He didn't get any of that. Eubank fought the guys that need to be fought. None, Roy Jones Jr. and James Toney, those fights never happened. But they didn't need to happen because you had a nice mix within the British circle. And well, Ben held the WBC. Eubank held the WBO. You know, I don't know if the Americans ever wanted to unify. Roy Jones was on his own little mission doing what he was doing. So, you know, Eubank made Ben, I would say, and Ben made Eubank, you know. So we had that, and we were able to see that as fight fans. And you needed one to make the other. You know, Eubank's character, what he was and as a person, to make that fight. So I think can be very ungrateful. And that's the man who he is. Now, he's just doing the best to protect his son, as if you had children, you would do to protect your son or your daughter if they were boxing. And the misunderstanding of Chris Eubank Jr. He's his father's son. What do you expect him to do? His father's going to try and lead him in the way that he feels is best. He knows the boxing world far better than most of us. All of us on the outside that are fans don't know the corrupt world that really boxing brings, right? Eubank has been in it, he's seen it and done it. So why the hell does he want his son to go through what he went through? If anything, he's going to try and avoid certain things. There's some things he just can't avoid. He can't avoid his son being involved in a ruckus. He can't be involved in when his son's actually in a fight and taking blows. He can't do that. But he can prepare his son the best way possible. His father was a middleweight great, okay? How many defenses? 14 defenses of the WBO super middleweight title, the middleweight super middleweight title. He did really well as a champion. You know, Eubank is a household name. Like him or hate him, you always talk about him. Job done. So Eubank Jr. now is following his father's footsteps. And in his 18th fight, he's fighting the British, Commonwealth and European champion. And all people say is, oh, I can't stand that Eubank. I can't stand that Eubank. I can't stand that Eubank. But at the end of the day, what's he doing? He's putting you in a position to see a great fight, and he's going to try and win the titles. He's fought people that are not good at up to this point, but now he's fighting Billy Joe Saunders, who is a real test, who is the champion, who's the British Commonwealth European champion, who's done it all so far at this level, right? And he's still getting stake. But please separate the character that sells tickets. If you're boring, you don't sell tickets. Fact. It's proven over and over and over and over again. You don't sell tickets. You don't open your mouth. You don't sell tickets. I don't care how good a fighter you are. Andre Ward is one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. Right? But he don't open his mouth. He don't open his mouth, and I don't think he can sell tickets the way Carl Froch can sell a ticket, or the way Mayweather can sell a ticket. And when Mayweather started his career off, he was all nice and nicely talking. If you remember Mayweather at the beginning of his career, very nice and very kind and very humble, and then it switched. He said, you know what, I've got to talk, I've got to be a different way. Even if you look at David Haye when he started his career, when he started off, he didn't give it all this, and then there was a switch. You know what, I've got to sell tickets. I've got to pay the light bill. I've got to make people want to see me fight. And Eubank was, well, if you're going to see me fight, I've got to make you see me fight. Whether you want to see me win or you're going to wait and see me lose, I'm still going to take your money from you. So it's a tried and tested method. There's a load of guys out there, a load of guys and girls who've never met the Eubanks. Neither of them met Tyson Fury or Dereck Chisora. And we just take this TV. And remember, a lot of stuff you see on TV is edited. It's edited down to make it look, to build a character to be a way one person is, another person is. But let me tell you first time, Eubank's a humble guy, and Chris Eubank Sr. is just protecting his son. And that's it. Say what you like, but you can't say Eubank was ever a coward, and you now can't criticize Eubank Jr. for being a coward. So that's my point on that. And If you can't tell the difference between the fighter that's getting in the ring and fighting and the hype man, the hype job to sell tickets, to sell a fight, why are we watching this fight in the first place? Billy Joe Saunders and Chris Eubank Jr. If Chris Eubank Jr. said, yeah, okay, Billy, you're going to beat me. You know, okay, Billy, you know, you're the British Commonwealth and European champion. And you know what? Yeah, of course, you're great. And you should beat me. Yeah, of course, you're going to give me a beating. Why would you tune in to see that? Why would you tune in to see that? This fight has got the world talking. Not London. The world. The world are talking about Eubank Jr. A man who's not in fought for a title yet. Not just based on what his father's done, but what he's been doing so far behind the scenes. Tonight is graduation night. Win, lose, or draw, Chris Eubank Jr. has fought the best guy around in Britain, in the Commonwealth, and in Europe. Because Billy Joe Saunders is a champion. So I don't hear nobody else telling me about, oh, like Eubank, I can't stand him. He ain't fought no one. He ain't. Tonight he's going to have everybody. Every fight in history has been at a point where they've had their fair share of Mexican road sweepers and you would call them bums or journeymen to prepare them. Apart from Lomachenko, who's just a freak of nature. And then they have that defining fight. If Eubank Jr. goes out there and blows Billy Joe Saunders away, is that a defining moment? Or is it just the fact that he's more too big, too strong? What are you going to say then? Well, Billy Joe weren't good enough. Or he was weight trained. He trained too much. You know, so give the young man credit. Give the young man credit. And if you know you're going against Billy Joe Saunders, you know in the future, should he win those titles, you know you've got a champion on your hands there. Because you can't question his heart or his guts. Because he's gone in there for a guy that's got much more pedigree than him as an amateur. And much more pedigree than him as a pro so far. Graduation night, I see it as. So that was my points on that. If you're asking me who I'm picking for the fight, I'm going with Chris Eubank Jr. I said before, I think Chris is too big, too strong, too powerful, too hungry, too unorthodox. And I believe that I'm in agreement with Ronnie Davis that Eubank has been quite clear about what he's going to do, and I believe he will do it. And I believe that Billy Joe Saunders will try and engage when he shouldn't, and I think that when he does try to engage at some point, Eubank will catch him. If he brings the fight to Eubank Jr., worst thing he could do, I think. I really do. I'll try and put pressure on Eubank Jr., but if you're used to pressure, and I see this situation, really, I see this Chris Eubank Jr. is, imagine somebody, a tiger, being backed and backed into a corner 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 by somebody much, much bigger than them, much, much stronger than them. And always battling hard and fighting. And then this smaller guy comes along and says, I'm a champion. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that to you. You look at him and said, you know what? I fought the giants of this world. See you? I might not have been able to take it out on the giants. But you, will take it out on you. And I think we are about to see something very brutal on Saturday night. I really do. I really do. And I hope, and I said in my, I said in the interview beforehand, I really hope that Billy Joe Saunders is world class. I really do. Because I like Billy Joe Saunders. I wish he didn't fight Chris Eubank Jr. But the fact that he insisted in fighting Chris Eubank Jr., I don't think it's a good fight. I hope he proves me wrong. I really do, because I like both guys. I hope he proves me wrong, but I can't see it happening, honestly. Yeah, he's got the experience, but experience only counts for how many times has Billy Joe Saunders fought Chris Eubank Jr. Somebody could say, well, how many times has Chris Eubank Jr. fought Billy Joe Saunders? What, somebody who physically isn't as strong as him? Don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong here. Either way, either guy that wins, I'm happy for, but it'll be a great fight. Again, a similar situation with Tyson Fury and Dereck Chisora. You've heard me break this fight down 1,001 times, and I've seen both camps, trained, I've spoken to both camps, and it's horrible. Again, it's a horrible night for me because you've got Billy Joe Saunders, Chris Eubank Jr., you've got Tyson Fury, Dereck Chisora, and you've also got Crawford Beltran. Both guys I've done extensive interviews with, and both guys I like as well. So it's a horrible night for me, terrible night for me. Fury Chisora. This is just my pure detached from both guys. Tyson Fury has been inactive, and I don't care what he tells me. I believe inactivity is going to be a problem for this fight for him. I think you need to be sharp. You need to be ring sharp. Can he put his punches together, having all that layoff? Can he do it? He looked sloppy against Joey Abel. So the last time Tyson Fury looked in really good shape was against Cunningham, and that was a struggle. He did not blow Cunningham away. Tyson will say angles. Yes, Cunningham brought angles. Cunningham also backed Tyson up, and every time he hit Tyson, at times he stunned Tyson. But Tyson showed, as always, the fighting heart. He found a way to get Cunningham out there. Landed a beautiful body shot which slowed Cunningham up, and he finished Cunningham off. You can't knock Tyson's fighting heart. Peter Fury wasn't in his corner that night, but Peter Fury was in his corner the night he fought Joey Abel. And again, Tyson looked... reckless is not the word. Entertaining, yes. But, my gosh, at times I felt Joey Abel was in with a chance. Because he kept landing the right hand, and I kept thinking, oh, the left hand. Oh, 1 second there. One of these quite tagged Tyson. And then Tyson stepped it up and got Joey Abel out of there, which was good. The finish was class. The finish was class. And showed that Tyson was leagues above Joey Abel. Now he's back in him again against Dereck Chisora. The guy he's beaten before. The guy is called the journeyman. The guy he says that, you know, he says for me that I've got to look out for this tactic of his, the overhand right. That he's got a tactic. The one strategy I think Tyson could use against Dereck Chisora to prevent the overhand right is to tuck his chin in here and to have this here and to fight that way, side on, against Dereck Chisora like that. Therefore, the overhand right would just hit the shoulder. That's the one way I believe that Tyson, if he tucks his thing and he's throwing the jab that way, that's the one way he could do to prevent the overhand right. But I think Tyson doesn't see the overhand right because he's so tall that his chin's up here like this. So he doesn't see anything that... He doesn't see that. So when the overhand right comes, you look at the fight he had against Prychek and the fight he had against Cunningham. Cunningham threw the punch from the back of the arena. The back of the arena. Right? Nobody generally goes out and throws punches. That was from the back of the arena. I was swinging a hope and he caught him. Okay? I'm not sure if Tyson's got any way to answer that overhand right when he's in one of his moods, meaning he's playing around, joking around, because those are times he'd be floored. Now, I think Tyson's most complete performance was against Kevin Johnson. You saw him use the jab, you saw lots of movement. What I do expect to see from Tyson is lots of jabbing and lots of holding when Chisora gets close. To messing about, to hold and messing about, tying about, push him off, use a jab and push Chisora onto back foot. That's what I think Tyson's going to try and do. Intelligently. I expect him to try and do that. But there are question marks even about Dereck Chisora. His punch resistance. Bear in mind, all the guys that Chisora has fought since Klitschko have been able to hit him on the chin cleanly. They've not been hitting the top of Chisora's head. This is another key factor. That's why David Haye was able to get so much leverage to knock Chisora out. Right? When you get hit at the top of your head, it's different to getting hit clean on your chin all the time. And you saw the punch you got hit with. There's no way Tyson Fury is going to get that sort of leverage. For either the big man that he is and the skillful inside fighters, unless Chisora runs into a right uppercut or a left uppercut, silly. Right? There's no way a big man like that is going to get that sort of leverage like the way that Haye did. And there's nothing to suggest that Tyson Fury hits as hard as David Haye. There's another point here. Why Tyson Fury is steadily knocking Dereck Chisora for he's a bum. Every time he's got up to world level, he's been beat. Something else dawned on me. Tyson Fury has never fought Helenius. He never fought Klitschko. He never fought David Haye. I believe those are 3 of the guys that beat Dereck Chisora. Haye was world champion, former cruiserweight world champion, heavyweight champion of the world, former heavyweight champion of the world, and hits like dynamite. He didn't come up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, and when he was a cruiserweight, wasn't a big puncher. Haye was an all-time great big puncher at cruiserweight. Cunningham, you couldn't say that he was a technical boxer. No matter what Tyson tells me about, and I've told him so many times about his cruiserweight thing, he keeps believing that because he's a heavyweight, 210, he's a heavyweight, he can punch. Yes, but Cunningham was not a big puncher at cruiserweight. David Haye was. Evander Holyfield knocked people out of cruiserweight. So those were 2 comparisons he brought there, which at the time was going through my head, but because I was being rushed by the people handling Tyson, I couldn't get it out. But yeah, that's my answer to that. So where am I going with this? So the fight he has had is the top class fight he had was Cunningham, and Cunningham gave him fits. Okay, see, Peter Fury is the key to Tyson Fury being switched on for the fight, but Tyson himself needs to put on a performance of a world-class heavyweight. That means sticking to a game plan. That means pumping your jab out. It means throwing your right hand when you need to throw your right hand. Throwing combinations. Knowing when to step off. Knowing when to hold when you're in trouble. Right? None of this, I'm a fighting man and trying to get yourself into a shootout. That's got to stop. We want to see a mature performance from Tyson Fury tonight. On the jab, keeping Dereck at distance and not allowing Dereck to get close. Bearing in mind, Dereck Chisora hasn't shown in his career up to this point that when he gets in close, he actually is effective. Dereck Chisora's best work is at mid-range in his career so far. Now, let me add to the point that against Gerber or Parley showed some improved body punching. And he definitely looks stronger now than he ever did then. So he's going to be, I believe he'll be a faster heavyweight now than he was then. Now, does him being a smaller heavyweight and a leaner heavyweight mean that he's able to absorb the same sort of shots and same sort of power from a big, heavy man? It's been a long time since Dereck Chisora, again, has been in a ring with a big heavyweight. That's another question. Both guys' fitness, question. It's a long time since Tyson Fury had to do 12 rounds. Okay? And he's been inactive. It's also been not long since Dereck Chisora's been in the ring, gone 12 rounds. He's gone 12 rounds against Kevin Johnson. That's not the concern. But against a really big man who's going to lean and hold and push down on you, 12 rounds, is that giving the issue? To me, as a campaigner, and I spoke to Gary Logan about this, as a campaigner, Chisora has been far more effective. He's had more of the fights, he's fought at the higher level consistently, and he's the European champion. Has come back from a defeat, been knocked out, come back and become European champion. Tyson Fury has not been knocked out. Not because he's that good, but because we don't know how good he is, because he hasn't been able to fight Helenius or a Klitschko or a Haye. Elite. Remember, Helenius at the time was being rated as the next best thing after the Klitschkos. You go back and look at when Helenius was about to fight Chisora. He was touted as knocking Chisora out in the first 3 rounds. Okay? Helenius carried some serious power. Some power that Fury doesn't carry. Okay? Again, Tyson Fury's got good movement, he's got good footwork, he's got good hands, fast hands for a heavyweight, and you know, Peter Fury again has got him fighting in a certain manner. But for me, Tyson has never, for me, since the Kevin Johnson fight, he hasn't really put it together, and I'm not sure how he fights under pressure. When the pressure's put on him, you sort of like this look on his face. When you look at the fight when he fought Chisora the first time, the look on his face, the fight that goes through his eyes when the pressure's put on him. And I go back to the McDermott fight as well. How much has Fury improved? People say, well, Tyson made all these improvements. How many fights have we seen him improve? Are we basing it on the Abel fight? You don't want to base it on the Abel fight because Tyson didn't really come into the fight in great shape. He was demotivated, all the rest of it fine. The Cunningham fight, Peter Fury wasn't there. So we have to go back to the Kevin Johnson fight. Alright? Or the Martin Rogan fight. So all these people are saying, oh, well, if Fury wins, it will be a complete performance. It will be the complete performance that he needs to say, right, I'm ready to go on and be taken serious as a heavyweight. And he, I think, believes he knows it himself. You know, Klitschko showed us against Pulev a complete performance for a heavyweight champion. He showed, you know, you're the number one contender, I'm going to take you out. And he took Pulev out in style. He says, well, who was Pulev? At the time, Pulev was the guy nobody wanted to fight. And Klitschko took him out. So I salute you, Sir Klitschko, for that performance. So, going back to the thing about Chisora being the campaigner and Fury being the Fury has the better skills, I believe. The power lies with Chisora. Activity rate, Chisora. Chin, I would say Chisora, because, you know, Fury's not really been with a mighty big puncher yet. Boxing skills, Fury. Heart, you've got to say Tyson Fury, because Fury's been off the canvas, but he's never been hit as hard as Dereck has, and as cleanly as Dereck got hit. And if David had hit Fury like that, would he got out? We don't know. This hurts. I'm going Dereck Chisora to cause a huge upset Saturday night. Yeah, I'm Chisora. I believe the Chisora left jab is going to be the key. Tyson Fury may find it hard going in there and may not get it going on the night. I believe when they first fought, when I first saw the fight with Chisora and Fury, and I saw this weight that Tyson Dereck came in, I said, you know what? If Dereck gets in the right shape, he'll beat that guy. That's what I thought back then when I saw the fight. But since then, Fury's put on some good performances. Joining Peter Fury, Peter Fury has brought a stability within Tyson. A stability. That's the word, stability, and a professionalism about Tyson. But does that cover over the cracks? Does that cover over the mistakes he makes? I don't know. But Tyson, he's so charismatic. I mean, I watched a documentary of him yesterday at the cinema, and he said something along the lines of, he looked up and he was going across the board, and there was Jack Dempsey there, and he was Jack Johnson, and he looked at these guys. He went, you know what separates me from them? Well, they had a pair of gloves, I had a pair of gloves. I'm a fighting man. One thing, Tyson views a fighting man. Whether he would have beaten Jack Johnson, I ain't so sure if he'd have beaten Jack Johnson. Cunningham gave him problems, and Jack Johnson, Cunningham is no Jack Johnson. Fury's a fighting man, and he has no fear. I just wonder if that's going to be his downfall come Saturday night. But make no mistake about it, this fight is going to be a great fight. And what I do hope and I pray that this fight doesn't end controversially, that it doesn't go to points and Fury robbed on the cards or Chisora robbed on the cards, that there's a conclusive finish. Either Chisora gets knocked out, Fury gets knocked out. No referee needs to come in and stop a fight. Knocked out, and we just end it that way. And both guys leave the fight arena healthy and well, and they can go back to their partners and live two great men and two family men, you know. And you know, I wish this fight never happened, but there you go. I think Dereck's got his head switched on, and he's ready for Fury. And I think Fury is going to realise that Dereck Chisora's a lot better than a journeyman. And if you keep on saying and believing that a man's a journeyman and a bum, and you keep telling yourself that all the time, when you get in fight night time, and you've been saying it all the time, you actually believe it. Come fight night, you may get a shock of your life. And I think that is what might happen on the night. Is it complacency? I don't know. One mistake, it could be curtains. I hate to say this, Chisora by KO. yeah, uh, yeah. Chisora by KO. I don't think. I don't think Fury's had enough fights leading up to this one, and I do agree that he has been sidelined, and it's a great shame, I think. But if he pulls this off, oh my God, if he beats Chisora, let me add this. If he beats Chisora, this is a great win. A great win because of what he's had to come through in terms of, you know, the passing in his family, the 2 council fights with David Haye, the council fight with Dereck Chisora the first time round, you know, to go through all of that, get himself back in training camp, dedicate himself, get himself in shape, to get himself in tremendous shape that he's in now, and to then still put on a great performance. Man is mentally very strong, and if he beats Dereck Chisora on a night, which I'm not sure he can, because I think Dereck's a bit better than he's given him credit for, then it's a great performance for Fury. I want to add this as well. The one thing I've noticed about Dereck Chisora in his fights is that there are times he just stands there and just looks, and he doesn't get hit too flush with punches. He stands and looks. He's got to fight for Dereck to win this fight. For Dereck to beat Fury, he must fight at the pace he fought against Helenius. He fought a bit too slow against Vitali. He must fight at the same pace he fought Helenius from round 1. Must fight at that pace. Must fight at that pace. If he comes up fighting against Helenius, that's why he fought against Helenius, I believe he'll be too much for Fury. Those are my thoughts. It'd be interesting what you guys think. It doesn't make me no less a fan of Peter Fury or Tyson Fury or the Fury camp, or I just think you've just got somebody who's been consistently fighting better opposition and consistently producing the goods, and has come back from adversity in terms of a knockout and has done well. Is he limited? Chisora limited? Is he a journeyman? We're about to find out. Finally, do want to make about Frankie Gavin and his fight against Bradley Skeet. I saw Frankie Gavin on Thursday. That's the first time I'd seen him physically. I mean, I used to box as a welterweight, and Frankie Gavin, I mean, when I saw him, he looked drained, completely drained. He's telling me that he could probably fight like middleweight. I looked at him and thought, well, you could probably fight like welter. So I don't know if it's Frankie's struggling at the weight in terms of he's not making the weight right. He's not dedicated to training camp. He's lacking motivation because he's fighting Bradley Skeet. I don't know. Skeet's a good quality fighter. I'm not sure about his punch resistance, but I know he's got some excellent boxing skills, especially when he's up close. He does throw some very good looking shots inside. I don't know. You'd think that Gavin is a much better fighter than Skeet on ability, but Frankie Gavin does his fights are not spectacular. He doesn't fight spectacularly. He doesn't put on extraordinary performances, and because of that, it lends it over Skeet to do well. I don't know who wins this fight, to be honest. My mind says Gavin, my heart says Skeet. I'm going to go with Skeet this one. I'm going to go with the upset. And I don't like the way Frankie Gavin makes weight. I really don't. And he's already doing it. He's a pro. He knows what he's doing. I'm not so sure. I know they're going to Gavin's going to probably target Skeet's body. I think the body shots are the best place to go for Skeet. I might go Skeet with this one. Younger, fresher. Might not be as talented, but Skeet's getting better every fight, and maybe closing the gap on Gavin. Be interesting what happens in this fight going down the distance. Okay, I'm out. Thanks for watching. And finally, I keep saying the word finally, I want to say thank you to you, people out there who have been watching my videos and have been commenting and leaving such great comments. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. Like I said in the beginning of this journey, I ask the questions that you, the fans, want the answers to, and that's all it's about. Take care and thanks for watching.